Perrigo Drugs was founded in 1887 by a general store proprietor named Luther Perrigo. They originally sold natural medications and household goods. By 1997, Perrigo made its first acquisition outside of the United States by purchasing a Mexican-based private label over-the-counter company. They then expanded further by adding businesses in the UK and Australia. By being able to access new markets across the globe, Perrigo was granted the opportunities to launch new store brand versions of popular medications such as Advil, Tylenol, and Allegra. Today, Perrigo is a leading global healthcare company. Early in 2017, the United States Department of Justice began an investigation of possible price collusion among large pharmaceutical companies. The investigation began after an online article called attention to generic drug companies conspiring together to raise prices unfairly. As more states began to file complaints, the Department of Justice Antitrust Division made the decision to raid Perrigo Drugs' corporate offices in Michigan in April 2017. The results of the Department of Justice's probe were felt throughout the industry. Stock prices began to plummet in May of 2017. Perrigo Drugs continues to deny any involvement in the accusations of price collusion. However, they have since lowered their prices on many over-the-counter drugs. The investigation and court proceedings are ongoing, and the investigation has led to over a dozen companies being subpoenaed to cooperate with law officials. As of April 2018, at least 2 more pharmaceutical companies have been raided in the ongoing fight against unfair prices in the over-the-counter drug industry. The Department of Justice Antitrust Division prosecutors are nearing their first official charges in this investigation. However, due to the confidentiality of the case, it is hard to determine whether or not Perrigo Drugs will be charged.
The Perrigo were primarily impacted by the company's decision and actions by controlling the pricing of the drugs people might not be able to afford. People with skin disease like eczema would now have to go without or adapt to the pricing of the drugs they offer to them. Often when eczema goes untreated, people will develop or be more prone to asthma and hives. In several cases, eczema can last for multiple weeks or even longer and cause the person extreme discomfort. Perrigo controls the prices of these creams, which in turn also controls customers' comfort and discomfort. The stockholders were also affected by this, and the company's stock would slowly decrease monthly. Right now, it went down by 7.1%, and from the looks of it, it will continue to decrease. According to an article titled "The Case Manual" by Heather Salazar, states that Perrigo should value character traits that promote wellness or flourishing of individuals within a society. Perrigo acted out of greed. Greed is not something that is valued by all and does not help flourishing of a society. In the United States, greed is partly responsible for the unequal distribution of wealth. Perrigo wanted more money for themselves at the expense of their customers. In the end, it did not work out for them when they got caught by what they were doing. But also, it did not help out the customers who had the skin disease, because soon after Perrigo was caught by what they were doing, they soon dropped the drugs that would help the customers with their skin disease.
By Perrigo fixing its own prices, it made it very difficult and in some cases impossible for families to afford the medication that they needed. They claimed that the reason for the prices going up was for funding of new research and technology to improve medication, and if they didn't raise the prices for profit, they would not be able to make advances. And if the prices would be regulated, it would slow down medical advances and the research for them. After the statement was told, advocates of regulation replied by saying it would not slow down development because Perrigo spends more money a year on marketing than they do on actual research. Private insurance companies are the only ones that have the power to negotiate prices. They rely on third-party benefit managers to negotiate discounts, which only 30% of Americans have private insurance. The other 70% of Americans have Medicare and Medicaid insurance, which don't have any say in the prices they can negotiate. Therefore, they leave consumers to pay up to 17% of the price of the medication. Well, the government should have done differently, or should have stepped in sooner. Government should have stepped in to negotiate the prices of the prescription drugs. By them not taking sooner action, not having the proper regulations, gave the companies the power to become a small monopoly for the drug price industry making. The U.S. government should negotiate directly with the pharmaceutical companies to limit what the funding health system pays, instead of letting companies set their own prices. The average American spends an average of $1,000 per year per person for medication. That is more than anyone else in the world pays for medication per year, and they are becoming more unaffordable as time goes by. But the government makes it where companies have to bid to sell the pharmaceuticals here in the US. It would make it more affordable for the consumers that take the medication.